Hi, Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. In the last video I used a piece of a hazelnut sucker, and actually I'm working on up that sucker at this point, and I'm going to make in this video this little box. Now I've made boxes before, but this one is a particular challenge because of its size. It's very small and smaller than most of my tools. And to do this, I actually felt that I needed to have it to be able to get bigger in order to fit my chuck. So I added a walnut disc on the bottom so that I could grab it. And I added a walnut disc on the top. Now my thought with the walnut disc on the top is, oh well, that'll kind of hide all the white. But in actuality, once I get down to it, I have to turn off some of the white and let it show in order to get that round and not hanging over, because I really did not want a bead on the top. So in retrospect, I probably should have just wasted off the top one. I needed it in order to hold on to the lid, but waste it off and let it be the natural hazelnut color rather than the walnut. There's always another project. There's always more of this hazelnut limb or sucker limb in order to make more little boxes.
For this box, I'm using the same hazelnut sucker as the last project. One consideration, the branch is small. My long nose jaws don't have a dovetail on the compression grip, so I worry with a small tenon whether it will hold enough to stay put. Therefore, I'll enhance this box with a base that will serve as a holding method as well as a design feature. This base is scrap walnut. I'm mounting it to the face of my chuck jaws with only tailstock pressure. Then cut it round about halfway through. I cannot go all the way without hitting the steel jaws. Then cut a dovetail tenon. Now I can reverse the mount, drill a mortise to enable an expansion hold on the long nose jaws. Later, I realized it could have been either held in expansion or compression. Oh well. Then finish rounding before reversing it again. Then drill another 1-inch mortise on the opposite side to accept a future tenon from the hazelnut. I made 2 walnut rings, one for the base and one for the top to hide the white wood of the hazelnut. Next, to address the hazelnut, I'm mounting it between centers. This first operation is fairly simple. Cut a tenon to fit the 1-inch mortise in the walnut top and bottom. Next is to mount the whole workpiece to the lathe and glue it together with tailstock pressure. Glue dry, I can start the actual work on the small box. Since I'm using the bark as the exterior, there's really not much to do but to jump to parting off the lid. As usual for a box, I'm now mounting the lid using the mortise I cut much earlier. With this size of hollow, I'm going to drill it out and let it go at that. Most of my tools are too big for a 1-inch hole. Then just a bit of cleanup on the cut lip. Next, I'm switching to the base, mounting it with the mortise that could have been a tenon. As usual, I need to fit the lid to the tenon on the base. Also, as usual, this is cut, test, until it fits. Now that it fits, I can form the top. I'll cut away the mortise and try to form something nice with the top. Originally, I did not want any white to show, but the irregular limb did not cooperate. I wound up cutting a rounded corner that shows some of the hazelnut wood. I have to be careful not to cut too deep and run into the tenon. A design alternative would be to remove all the walnut and show the light hazelnut. In that case, the walnut could have been any scrap wood. To sand the walnut, I put the lid on the base and secured it with masking tape. This was enough to sand and finish the lid. Back to the base, I'm drilling out the hollow with a 7/8" Forstner bit. Usually now I would reverse the base onto my chuck jaws or a jamb chuck. In this case, I settle on somewhat of a jamb chuck. I cut a 7/8 inch tenon on some scrap and reversed the base onto it. Then just a little tooling before sanding, signing, and finishing with shellac. I like my little natural edge box. This small box had its own challenges and appeal. It's also nice to be back at my lathe. We'll see you again next week for another wood turning video. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and tell your friend. Always wear your full face shield. Goggles are not enough protection, even on small stuff. Until next week, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. Let's keep on turning.